Thank you for joining, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So they are the owners of Dr. Usha Krishna Polyclinic, and thank you for coming to the DiabEase 2022 and contributing to the cause. Next speaker of the day is Dr. Rahul Verma. Please, I would like you to come onto the stage. As you all know, diabetes mellitus is a condition induced by unregulated diabetes that may lead to multi-organ failure in patients. Thanks to the advances in machine learning and artificial intelligence, which enables early detection and diagnosis and management of diabetes through an automated process. So I would like him to come on the stage. This is Artificial Intelligence Pro, Dr. Rahul Verma. Please come onto the stage. Yeah, with the team. Thank you so much. Start off with the topic. To emphasize upon the few facts, Dr. Rahul Verma is a unique combination with degrees holding degrees like MBBS, MTech in biomedical engineering from IIT Mumbai. As his valuable assets, he has been working in bringing revolutions in healthcare and technology advancements. In his tenure, he contributed his works, to name a few, with some companies like Roche, AstraZeneca, Medtronic, Baxter. He was chairman of a Japanese company and CEO, M360 World, largest market research company before joining Nano Health as a co-founder. Welcome him, sir, Dr. Rahul Verma. And the topic for today, he will, I think, himself will take care of. Topic is diabetes then.
Yeah, AI in diabetes. So I'll be on the floor. I think this is the best I've heard from my wife. Right, so I'm sure many of you would not know Dr. Sumedha. Means I'm lucky to have her as my better half. But this is the most compliments I've heard in the last 20 years. But thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So thanks a lot. I think before we get into the topic, if anyone has not yet filled out the form that we gave on the 3 questions that we had asked.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Submit
You're putting it there.
Or
Right?
can
You
you,
want to play?
Yeah.
if you can just give them to me. Anyone from this side?
Maybe the access to the PPT is not showing in that.
Please come.
Yeah, I'll just request everyone to fill that out because we would use your responses in the session. Let's talk about AI, touching all our lives. So, what is AI? Examples. Then AI in medicine, of course, is transforming. That's the profession we are in. Right? So what are the few examples of where AI is touching our lives in medicine as a profession? And then AI in diabetes, of course, that's the specific topic for today, for the World Diabetes Day. And then very specifically, how and what we are doing using AI, or what is our vision and Dr. Ravi's vision for using AI at AAD Hospital. Right, sir? The curtain lifting will happen. Okay. So quickly starting with what is AI? This is academic, but I thought I'll just list it out there. There are so many definitions out there. People get confused between what AI is, what machine learning is. But very simply, machine learning is a subset of AI. There are so many different modules and algorithms which can be used for trying to achieve the objective of AI. And the AI itself is trying to see that how the cognitive function of human beings can be replicated using machines or computers. Right? So that is the key definition of AI. And behind all of this is data. Right? So it's not our mind can create thoughts. Machine cannot create thoughts. It needs data. Right? So that's how machine learning or AI definition is. The cartoon below, if you can go back, please. Thanks. Just wanted to highlight, I don't know how many of you are able to relate to it, that most of us sitting here in this room are digital migrants. When we were studying or when we were growing up, technology, laptops, it was limited. I still remember I used to type I used to type email in a Word, go online, then copy paste in Gmail, right? I'm talking about 2002, 2003, right? Internet in 2000 was not there, right? But now you see that yes, everything is accessible on a mobile phone. Mobile phone actually has become your key companion, right? Whereas the kids these days, who are born, they are digital natives. And I still remember my daughter, now 10 years old, when she was growing up and she could climb up. We had a TV console, 48 inches or something, and she climbed up that TV cabinet and on the screen started scrolling like this. Because the TV was not touch screen, iPad was touch screen. That is what she was used to. Now she's able to climb on the screen, on the TV screen, trying to scroll it like that, and it's not obeying her orders. Right? So these kids are digital natives. For them, AI will be natural. Right? That's what it will be. That was the question: how we see, AI transforming, or the role of AI in the next 10 years. Of course, we will be able to set up colonies on Mars. We hope so, thanks to Elon Musk. But most of you, I think majority of you have opted for the second and the third option, right? Which is AI will help doctors become more efficient and consistent, and AI will help, right, in serving patients better. You opted for the first one? Yeah. No, I think I have not analyzed your response. Am I told that I will? So otherwise I would have registered that. Because, yes, there is a threat. And let me just share this with you. There's a person by the name, Sunil Khosla. And he was founder of Sun Microsystems. Sorry, Vinod Khosla, not Vinod Khosla. He's the founder of Sun Microsystems. I don't know if you've heard about the company. One of the largest, IT architectural firms. Right? He made a statement that technology will make 80% of the doctors redundant. I don't know whether you read that statement or not. He's a perfect, of course, an Indian, but in the Silicon Valley, very respected. There's another way to look at it. 80% of the population right now is underserved. Means they do not get quality healthcare or access to quality healthcare. Right? To practitioners like you, to expertise like you, to the specialists that you are, they don't have access. That is what technology will enable, rather than making you redundant. It will make those 80% of the underserved population, whether in tier 2, tier 3, rural areas, being able to access your expertise. That's what I feel. So let's get to the next slide. So some examples of AI. I don't know how many of you watched India-Pakistan match. We won the World Cup, right? That match was the World Cup. Whether we lost later or not, the World Cup final for us was played on that day. Right? That is how it looked like how India played, right? They played like a practice match, making England practice for the final. But if you see, at one stage, there is a win predictor. How many of you have noticed this while watching sports? You've seen, right? It changes with every ball. Changes with every ball? What do you think is powering this? Means pundits and astrologers sitting behind and say now the stars alignment has changed. So now the prediction is that India will win or Pakistan will win. So what do you think is powering this prediction? Data. Pure data. Right? And this is, in the 16th over. In the 19th over, of course, the equation had reversed. And we won the World Cup. Right? So, again, emphasizing that data and AI are touching every sphere of our life. Right? Whether we see sports, whether we see food we order, Blinkit, Zepto. I don't know how many of you use Blinkit, Zepto. 8 minutes delivery. right? We hope that medical care could be served in 8 minutes, right? I fundamentally believe that. When Zepto came up with that model of 8 minutes delivery, I thought if doctor services and ambulance could reach the patient in 8 minutes, I think that is what I would call a revolution. Rather than groceries which can wait for another 10 minutes, I don't think so anyone would mind. Right? But all of that is being powered by data and AI. How Zepto or Blinkit is able to deliver, because they have the route optimization. They know that how much time it's going to take from A to B. They know that in this society, these are the commodities or these are the items which are ordered. They actually have those warehouses, which they call micro or nano warehouses. They stack those things where they can pick it up very easily and within 1 minute pack it and dispatch it. All driven by AI and data. Your data. Right? So let's move on. There's some number crunching. Again, importance of data, which is the new oil. 90%. Can you just pick next? Yeah, let me introduce Dr. Harshita. She's my partner. She's the head of our clinical team in Nano Health. So she's helping me here. Thank you. So, anyone who can guess what this is? 90% and the plain sign? Means data is the oil, right? 90% of the flight that you take is driven by technology and AI. 10% is also an overestimation, right? That pilots are engaged. But pilots are there. Always there. Right? And this is not new. This is the first autopilot is probably 40, 50 years old, because all the spacecrafts that were launched were autopilot in terms of the navigation and everything, right? And they took that technology, put into commercial flights, and 90% of the time, the flight time is on autopilot. Okay? Next please. Very interesting, 63,000 and 85%. The symbol you recognize? Google and Chrome, right? 63,000 searches are done on Google every second. Every second across the world. Which makes it to 3 trillion searches in a year. Because it has that data, if you type something, how many times you see the sentence already completed? Many times? Right? Because 85% of that is repeat searches. Because they have the data, they're capturing everything. Right? So 85% they are able to hit that number. So you type something, it immediately completes the sentence and you don't have to go anywhere, you don't go to the second page of Google. Has anyone gone to the second page of Google ever? Except if you are doing some literature research and you are looking for something specific, you don't go to the second page of Google, right? So in corporate lingo we said if you have to give a death sentence to someone or a company, put them on the second page of Google. No one will ever find them. Right? Next please. Now this is very important. 73 days 2x. What do you think this is? What doubles every 73 days? Sorry? Memory, yes, that's the floppy disk, but that's data. So medical data is doubling every 73 days. And why is that? Is because of the connected devices that we have, the wearables that we have, the data that we are collecting in the hospitals now, through all these variables and all these things, EMRs, EHRs, EMRs, right? That is the data that we are collecting. It is doubling every 73 days. That's the amount of medical data that is being collected. Next, please. Now, when we talk about EMR, interesting fact again is that US has 99% of the people have electronic medical records. In India, it is less than 25%. Right? You agree with that? How many of your patients you actually see that they have digital medical records, personal medical records, or electronic medical records? Very few. Right? Less than 25%. Next, please. So I start with the flight, starting from 20,000 feet, down to our searches, to the data in the medical field, to the EMRs that we have. That essentially represents the data that we have. Especially in India, we don't have the data, right? Coming down to diabetes, you would know this number. I don't need to, tell you. 425 million diabetic patients. But what is interesting that I found is that 1 out of every 2 goes undiagnosed. That's a stat I read in a paper. I don't know whether validated or not validated. There's a source for it. But that's the status for diabetes. I'm not sure why that diabetes has not come clearly. So let's move on. Now AI in medicine. Right? We talked about the prediction for the win, right? India, Pakistan. The same thing now AI in medicine can also predict what will happen to you next. Right? So this small graphical cartoon explains that before you even know, there will be someone who will say probably you are going to have a heart attack, so or you need a heart transplant, so this is a new heart which has been delivered to you. Right? Let's move on. So some examples. You gave a lot of examples. I think one was robotic surgery, one was Alexa in your medicine that you're using, smartphones you're using, image retinopathy that you're using. Right? In addition to all of those, here are some examples from virtual nursing assistance to aid clinical judgment or diagnosis, workflow and administrative tasks. This is also very important. There's so much of manual work that goes in the hospitals related to healthcare and medical practice around administrative tasks. So technology is changing that, AI is changing that. Right? Image analysis, yes, from being able to diagnose X-rays for COVID patients. I think that is where it started, to digital pathology, to diabetic retinopathy. Robotic surgery, someone mentioned here as well, and risk stratification and trials that, especially in NHS, Microsoft is conducting a longitudinal study in UK, NHS's National Health Services, where they are trying to see that in the ICU, how they can optimize the resources for the patients who may actually develop, fatal complications or may become serious, right? So that they are able to triage them early and prevent that serious complication to develop. So all of these things, AI is transforming. In India, yes, of course, we do see a lot of applications as well, right? And we'll come to AI in diabetes. Yeah. So there are 4 key areas where AI in diabetes is specifically helping. One is automated retinal screening. I don't know how many of you have heard. Google came up with this. FDA approved a lot of algorithms, in US to be able to risk stratify and do the classification of retinal, diabetic retinopathy. So that is where all the image analysis, so that even an optometrist, can diagnose whether the person has, neovascularization or grade of retinopathy. So that those are the algorithms through image recognition and through AI that have been improved and are being used, especially in diabetic retinopathy. Then comes clinical decision support. Yes, diabetes is a science in itself. What dose of glucose and what patients you give. So there are a lot of algorithms that are there which are driven by data to see that yes, we are able to identify the right dosage to the right patients, we are able to identify the right diets, we are able to identify what complications will develop. All of that happens in the US. Right? Here in India, yes, we are trying to do something because we do not have data. We still follow most of the models, risk stratifications, which are developed based on US data. Right? Nothing for the Indian population. But that's where, clinical decision support, that's where AI is also helping. Then is predictive population risk stratification. So this is where, through screening, they have been able to identify that if you have these pre-morbid conditions, if you have this kind of lifestyle, if you have these kind of lab parameters, you belong to this kind of demographic population, then you have, mild, high or very high risk of developing diabetes. So that's from a preventive aspect. Again, mostly in US or outside India. Patient self-management tools. Yes, we have apps from ABC, I don't know who, because they are probably my competitors, I'll not name them. But this primarily is that you have people, diabetic people from continuous glucose monitoring, right, who are able to then also see that what diet you want to have, right, guiding you on diet, guiding you on calories. So all these self-management for the patient, these tools, using AI, using algorithms, they are being used. Right? So these are the 4 key areas for AI in diabetes, from imaging to smart devices to trying to do risk stratification to see that yes, we are able to give the right dosage to the patients. And of course, AI applications, offer a greater accuracy, efficiency, ease of use. PWD is, patients with diabetes. Right? Sorry, I did not put that there. And their clinicians, families, and caregivers. Okay? So a lot of, if you can just go back, just hold on. Any thoughts, questions here? Anyone wants to add for diabetes? Dr. Ravi, anything you want to share where you are using AI in your practice? I did not have you fill the form.
We are about to start and we are looking forward, especially diabetic self-education. We need to organize a structured thing to assess instead of in education. Each person, I can't employ one person to teach them same thing repeatedly. So I'm looking forward.
Thanks. So let's move on. So at AAD, thanks, Dr. That was a good preview to the next slide. So what we are doing is, with Dr. Ravi's mentorship, we are building a smart decision support system, especially for all the endocrine disorders and patients which are being handled at AAD, right? Which has 3 key aspects. The first is a prescriptive, that if a patient comes in, I think the topic is exciting enough for them to chatter as well. But coming back to the vision for AAD is that we start with the prescriptive model, which is using all the data from the patients. When a new patient comes in, using the demographic of the patient, using the lab finding of the patient, and the diagnosis, we are able to bring out, based on the outcomes, what is our target outcome, whether that's a particular control, glucose level for HbA1c, TSH level, weight, whatever we want, right? Based on that, if you can look at longitudinal data of previous similar patients and see what worked, that this patient could reach the desired outcome in 3 months or 6 months or 12 months with these changes in medication, and instead of a new patient undergoing the same iteration for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, can we from start actually follow that regimen or that protocol? The key here is that all these protocols are written in books, they are there, they are clinical papers, but there is no platform that captures your data, your skills, your knack, right? That nugget of information, that nugget of knowledge that you have, that for this patient, as an example, which Dr. Ravi always gives us, that instead of 75 micrograms, let me start with 100 or let me start with 50, right? And give a pulse therapy or give something else so that I am able to achieve the desired output, which is my target of having TSH less than 4 as an example, in this profile of patients. This is your nugget. So all of this that is happening on your data, longitudinal data of your patients, which is being captured. Right? So that's the prescriptive module. Then we come to the predictive one. Once the data starts gathering, right, just like the prediction in the match, once the data continues to come in, the system is also able to create a prescription for you, which is that this is the prediction that if you give this prescription, this combination of medicines in this particular protocol, then you will be able to achieve your desired outcomes from this patient. That's the second part. The third is then if we get into all the data being collated and we are able to longitudinally follow up, we are able to see that what kind of patient, on what kind of medicines, what kind of compliance. Very important, right? What kind of compliance developed, what kind of complications. What were the comorbid conditions, what were the compliance things, what were the lab findings, what were the medications with which these complications developed, and then you can get into a preventive aspect as well. And with all of this, if all of this data is there integrated, right, then you are able to see that yes, you are able to have prescriptive, predictive, and preventive aspect of your care. Right, so that's the vision at AD hospitals. Can we move to the next slide? All of this is enabled because we are able to capture 360 data. Every step of a patient journey in your practice, in your clinic, in your hospital is being digitized. Whether that's the registration process, whether that's writing the prescription, whether that's the pharmacy, whether that's the lab, whether that's the IP. All of that is being digitized, is being captured using even smart devices. So that there is accuracy, there is data integrity, and we are able to then build AI engines on top of it. So that's the platform, the Chakra by NanoHealth that powers that. Next slide. Yes, in the end, it should not be that you keep searching for the patient, that technology overwhelms you. Right? You still are the driver, you still are the pilot. Right? And like most of you have mentioned, that AI will certainly help you become more efficient, deliver consistent care, and of course help you in serving patients better. Right? What we have done also is that because all of this ecosystem is coming together, along with the AD hospital, we are launching the Heart Matters program to really look into the matters of the heart. My wife is not listening, that's good. So, what we are trying to do is, with the specialists that we have access to, plus the technology platform, plus the point of care devices that we have, in terms of, we have an ECG which is this big, a 6-bit ECG, FDA approved, and Omron devices where we can digitally take at least the BP recording. We are able to do risk stratification through a form as well of post-COVID patients, whether and how much risk they have of a heart attack or an adverse cardiac event. So we are launching that. Today is the first day to launch. So we'll have, if some of you want to actually do that first step of risk stratification, would like you to invite you to our desk there. Dr. Harshita is there, and we can take a few doctors and we can give you a risk score. And if you want to follow up, then we will. She's nudging you to do that. Then we will do it, right? So free of cost, no charges. Right, thanks to Dr. Ravi for his support, and that's the Heart Matters or the Healthy Heart program using technology and AI that we are launching. So I'll pause here. Thank you. Questions? Yeah, it is. It is the ECG device actually tells you the name of 6 names that you have in your heart. When I mean by 6 channel, right, or 6 lead, it is 6 names. It will come out. So you tell me whether you want to share it or not. So this is the device. 6-lead ECG. I'm not marketing it. This is not our core solution. Also to emphasize, this is the integration of this technology into the whole ecosystem. That is what creates value. Any questions? Anything that I can help answer for anyone? AI has made you spellbound? There's a very nice trick, sir, especially for you. Try if you have 2 phones. On one, I did this trick with Dr. Ravi. Type Lata, L-A-T, and click on Lata Mangeshkar. Right? Next, type KIS and see what comes. And have Madam just type KIS. You'll see the difference in results. That's the power of personalized AI, and that's what we are trying to enable here. That this is your data based on which all these models will be built. This is not based on some research that happened